Welcome to Broadstone's Big Camp at Home. And here's your host, Jill McDonald.
Oh,
hello.
Wrong one. Hello. There we go. That's a better one.
That's one. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our camp at home. I have to say, 5 months ago when I was planning group camp at Ferny Crofts, I didn't expect to be stood here in my back garden, videoing for you, live streaming instead. But big welcome to our camp. I hope you have a fantastic time. We've got 115 people. We did have 115 people signed up. I've been told that we've got 2 birthdays today. So happy birthday to Joshua and George, celebrating their birthday in camp. I hope you've got all your tents pitched in the back garden or your dens built inside. We're going to start camp as we always do with our flag and flag break.
It's coming. Okay. Okay, so camp alert. Camp. Salute the flag. Excellent. Okay. Campetees.
Thank you. 2.
That was Lewis.
Lewis, well done. I can't see because of the sun. I can't see much of what's on my screen because of the reflection. So thank you very much for doing that, Lewis. I just wanted to start off with just reminding you of some of the rules for using the live stream and to give you information about how the weekend is actually going to run. So our 5 sessions, this is the first one, or is it 6? They're all running via this YouTube live stream, and there is a chat on the side as well. But can I just remind parents and young people that you need parents' supervision and permission to use the YouTube stream, and also for the WhatsApp parents, again, you need to give permission for your children to use it, or you upload the pictures and information for yourselves. Please make sure you monitor your children and young people while they are on the event, and supervise and monitor the chat function. Remember that we have to be as respectful on our YouTube chat as we would be if we were talking to somebody face to face, and bullying and inappropriate chat will be dealt with, okay, and not be tolerated. The inappropriate content will be met with a warning on the chat and then with a block, okay. And please don't share personal information because this is a live YouTube channel. We've set up a group camp WhatsApp chat specifically as we go through the activities, and you're taking part in activities. Do feel free, parents, to upload photos to the group WhatsApp, and then at the start of each of the live streams we will show some of the photos of what our young people have been doing. So that's what that WhatsApp group is for. Most of the activities are also linked to the badge schemes. So in order to get the activity marked off against the badges, you need to also send the photos and evidence to your leaders as well, okay? You don't rely on them picking it up from the WhatsApp chat from all the other stuff that's coming up there, okay? And also anything sent to us on that WhatsApp chat group, that specific group camp one, unless we are specifically told otherwise, for each individual item that is sent in, we could share it on the YouTube live stream during the camp. It could be incorporated into a video afterwards for sharing within our wider local community, through our public Facebook page, for example, or through our group website, or photos could be included as part of a printed local news article in the Broadstone Link and other local publications. Okay, so you do need to be aware of that if you're sending stuff into the group WhatsApp chat. Is there anything else I need to say, Mark?
I don't think so, other than we've already had quite a few come in, which is amazing. So well done, everybody. Keep it coming. It's really good. I think what we will do, Jill, instead of doing it at the beginning of each live session, we'll do it at the beginning of each day.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, so there will be one just before tomorrow morning, and then there'll be another one just before Monday morning.
That's fine. That's fine. Don't forget that for your sleeping out or your sleeping in your den to be accredited for the Nights Away Awards badges. Don't forget you need to send in photographic evidence to your leaders of the fact that you're camping out and you've camped out or you've slept in your den. Please don't take that as me saying to you that you can take devices to bed with you and spend half the night on your devices. Okay, it's quite adequate for your parents to take a photo of you emerging from your tent in the morning. Okay. So yeah, don't forget to send in evidence that you're camping out or sleeping in your den as well. We've got a lot happening this weekend. The way that it will work is that each of the timed slots that you've already been given with the program, you've got the link for the live stream. So if you log in at that time, you'll get an introduction. We will talk about the activity for that session. We'll either show a video or a live something live to introduce the activity, and then you're free to go away, do the activity, have family time, do what you need to do, do what you want to do. You don't have to do all the activities this weekend if you've got other activities planned as a family. The videos will all be there on the YouTube channel so that you can complete them later in half term if that fits in with your family plans. Again, don't forget to send in the evidence to your leaders for the badges. Okay, so that's kind of like how it will work. So each time you log on is not going to be for a long period of time. I'd have said probably 15-20 minutes. Looking at Mark.
Except for things like the campfire and things like that. That's a continuous thing. But
that's right. But the daytime slots, the evening ones will be longer. Okay. And don't forget, we've got our Broadstone's Got Talent competition tomorrow. So entries for that need to be submitted to your leadership team by the end of today, because round one will be judged by the leaders, and they will then submit their top 2 entries from their Beaver Cub or Scout unit, will then go through to be shown tomorrow evening as part of round 2. Okay, and at the end of round 2 you'll get the opportunity to vote for your favourite, and we'll talk more about that tomorrow. But for that reason, the entries need to be in by the end of today. And we've also got our badge competition. We've managed to get a good price on some badges. So don't forget, entries for that need to be in again to your leaders by 12 noon tomorrow, so they can choose a winner from each section for us then to choose an overall winner to announce on Monday morning. Okay. So the first activity that we're going to introduce to you is one that is just something that you can do at some point over the weekend if you've got a spare 5 minutes and you've got a spare toilet roll inner. I think we've got a video for this one, Mark.
We do indeed. Let me just get that up now. Okay. There we go. So let's play this out.
Welcome, Beavers, Cubs and Scouts. Welcome to our virtual camp challenge. Over the weekend, we're going to get you to work on a toilet roll craft. It's a challenge where you're only going to get to use one of the inside pieces of a toilet roll. So we're not going to pass it around as a video like the other toilet roll challenges we've seen. This time we're just asking you to take the inside. As sad and as lonely as it might seem, we want this poor guy to be turned into something fabulous. we are going to allow you to use many of the things you've got at home. So some scissors possibly, or a craft knife if you can get your hands on one and you looked after. Some glue, could be PVA or it could be a glue stick. Googly eyes if you've got any, or you could draw eyes on if you wanted to create a creature. Paints or crayons or any of the other color making materials you've got at home. So things like Sharpies work really well because they're nice and dense against the toilet rolls. So what is it you're going to make? It could be a challenge that you think is going to be to do with a vehicle or a person. So we've got some examples here. We've got rockets, brightly colored rockets. And it could be a vehicle such as a car. Think about how you're going to attach your wheels, or you might have a person inside it. Think about your color choices as well. My little girl's made a fairy house from a very long time ago. As you can see, it's gathered a bit of dust, but this is one of her crafts. She's also made a little bunny with some ears and some shiny wrapping paper. Apparently this one's meant to be with me with my curly hair, but you could make a self-portrait or a sculpture of someone you know. And we've done these recently for a little challenge at church for the little children. So this is our little bride and groom. I know you're only allowed one, but you could maybe choose a mermaid and add fins or hair or a hula hoop skirt to it. Possibly have a go at a superhero. So just remember, it's got to be one and not a whole team of them. We could do some cutting up of your toilet roll and create new shapes with it and lay it down flat would be one idea. You could also make these into more of a sculpture that tries to stand up. If you look at these mice, that's one clever concept that they've used as well. Then you can start to think about a bit more difficult things. You could keep the color plain and work with cutouts and drawings. And then these are very difficult, where you mold them with slightly damp. You spray the toilet roll, make them damp, and mold them from there. So photograph your entry, send it into your colony, your pack, or your troop leader, and then we're going to have prizes for each of the Beaver, Cub, and Scout groups. So good luck.
Okay, there we go. Oh, you're muted, Kim. Sorry about that.
I am.
There we go. Much better.
Okay. Fabulous. Okay, so good luck with your toilet roll challenge. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the photos of what you've been doing with that. So we're going now, I think, into our first main activity. I think I've said everything else I need to say at the moment.
I think you were going to say a bit of a safety intro, weren't you, about fires?
I was, yes. A little bit of an introduction to our first activity. We've got one of our cub leaders. I'm trying to remember his cub name. It's not, I can't remember what his cub name. Well, if you're a cub, you'll know who it is. We've got one of our cub leaders who is going to show us a demonstration on fire lighting. And then we're going to, you can go away and do some camp cooking. Now, can I just stress that you don't have to make a fire outside to do the cooking. You could light your barbecue, you could do your cooking inside, whatever works for your circumstances. Please be mindful of government advice about smoke for people who are people who have breathing difficulties at this time. And also, please don't go lighting fires down at Delft Woods or on the Heath, because we don't want to start another big fire. We do get permission when we do our fire lighting down at Delft, so please don't go down to Delft and light fires. But if you can do something safely, then it would be lovely to see your photos of whatever you've cooked. We've got 3 videos that we're showing you: the fire lighting, followed by cooking bacon and English breakfast, and we've got a video showing you how to do camp banana boats and a video showing you how to do camp cinnamon bread. Like I said, you don't have to cook them outside, you can cook them inside if that works for you, in the kitchen. Enjoy, send us some photos of what you've made. Look forward to seeing those.
Okay, his scout name, I think, by the looks of it, is Majuba.
That's the one, Majuba. All I could think of was Jakala, and I thought, no, it's not Jakala. No. Jakala's in Broadstone's Cubs. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Right.
So here's Majuba.
Right, okay. Let's just bring this up then. And hit play.
I'm going to show you my way of firelighting and cooking. Watch, listen, learn, and be inspired to do it more. I'm not perfect. I will get things right every time. But don't you get worried if things go a bit wrong. On this camp, lockdown prevents us from going to the woods, so I light my fire on the garden patio. You'll need to collect plenty of wood long before you start to light the fire. You'll need some kindling, which is small wood no thicker than your finger and no longer than your hand. And then some middling, bigger wood, but no thicker than your wrist. And bigling, which is bigger again, no thicker than your arm and no longer than your leg. And finally, you need to get together a container of water ready to put the fire out when you finish. Light the fire well away from trees, bushes, and overhanging branches. Scrape away loose material on the ground, such as grass and twigs, using your boot or a shovel. Place your crumpled newspaper or cardboard in the center of where you want to light your fire, and take some kindling. Place it in a crude pyramid shape. Then, put a bit more kindling, place horizontally around the pyramid in a square shape to hold the pyramid in place. Always leave gaps to get your match to the paper and for air to get into the fire, and then for the flames to rise out once it gets started. Light your paper and be ready to place a bit more kindling to keep the fire started, and then the smallest of your middling once the kindling is burning. This is the most skillful of operations. Even the most experienced of us can get it wrong from time to time. Bring your hand in low and from the side of the fire so as to prevent your hand from burning. It's best to place just a little middling at first so that you don't collapse the fire. When you can see the middling burning well, start to place bigling on the fire. Once again, one piece at a time and loosely covering any flame, but not too much that might smother that flame. Keep the fire open. Whilst we wait for the fire to get going, here's a few tips to help you. Do not collect or attempt to burn any wood with leaves on it, because it will be live and too moist to burn. Wood should be collected from dead wood that has fallen to the ground, though it might be wet or well rotted, so select it with care. Do not annoy your leader or your campmates by bringing back a small handful of wood. Only bring back armfuls of the stuff. Also, forget about using a fire steel and fine wood shavings like you might see on some backwoods survival programs. Just get the matches or a cigarette lighter out and use that. I'll talk again later about this wafter that I'm using. Once the fire is going, place large logs, stones or bricks to form an narrow edge to two sides of the fire. This will help contain the fire and form support for your cooking pans later. Oh, by the way, never pour oil, petrol, paraffin, methylated spirits or any other flammable liquid onto a fire to try to get it going. There may be no visible flame, but heat can flow back up the pouring liquid and ignite your hand, or, much worse still, the container with even more of the liquid in it. The result might be a big bang. Once burning well, build up your bigling on the fire to the shape and size needed. If the wood is dry, your fire will soon be blazing away. But if it's wet, place the wet wood near to the fire, but not so close that it might catch alight, so that the heat of the fire will start to dry it out for later use. If the fire does not take the first time, let it go out and wait a few minutes. Reuse the same wood, being very careful with hot bits, because it will be warmed and dried and so better than fresh wood. Any experience of having failed will always come in useful. Always wear boots to protect your feet from the heat of the fire. Adjust the width and height of the outer edges to suit the size of your cooking pans and to support them safely. Don't build your fire up too large. Make it just big enough for the cooking pans you plan to use, plus a little bit more. Best to cook on hot embers or the lowest of flames. And make sure you've got plenty of firewood ready on hand, preferably middling, to keep your fire going whilst you're cooking. It's best to form a trench running the direction of the blowing wind so that air is naturally funneled along the line of the fire. Right, the wafter is an old plate to blow air into the seat of the fire that needs encouragement. Start by wafting the plate gently at what is left of your fire. If a flame grows, waft a little more strongly in a regular rhythm and progressively help the flame to grow. Be careful not to waft out what little flame you might have. Time for some breakfast or even supper. Sausage, bacon, tomato, mushrooms, egg, baked beans and fried bread. Set up a pan marie, which is a Dixie half full of water with a deep metal plate sitting on top and an upside down, slightly larger deep plate above it. Place it on the edge of the fire but do not let the water boil dry. Put some oil or fat into the pan and start off with your sausages because they usually take the longest to cook, followed by the bacon and then the rest of your ingredients. Leave the bread till last. Never leave a pan on the fire unless there is food in it. Use your utensil to keep the food moving in the pan. It's all too easy for food to burn in the pan when on an open fire. Also, don't skimp on the amount of oil or fat because food often gets burned if there's not enough of it. Keep the handle away from the heat of the fire. If your fire seems to be dying out, put on just a little bit of middling because it will burn quicker than bigling, but with a smaller flame that will more quickly die down to embers. In this way, your pans may move around the fire to follow the best heat conditions for cooking. If the food seems to be cooking too fast and burning, just move the pan to a cooler part of the fire or take it off the fire altogether for a few moments. As each item of food seems to be nearly cooked, place it in the pan marie where it will keep warm, knowing that it will continue to cook just a little bit more under the plate. Leave your bread till last because it will soak up the leftover oil or fat to give delicious fried bread. As with your fire, get everything ready beforehand and within arm's reach. The foodstuffs, frying pans, Dixie, a couple of metal plates, utensils, cutlery, and an old tea towel. I rarely use an oven glove. It's just the way I am, but you might well choose to do so for safety until such time as you have much more experience. And in goes the bacon, which might be the only food you're cooking this time, to go into your bacon roll or bacon butty, or it might be part of a much fuller meal like mine. Place each rasher carefully into the frying pan, and don't be afraid of turning them over quite often to cook evenly on both sides. It's all too easy to misjudge how fast the bacon cooks on an open fire. Remember, if you're not sure, take the pan off the fire for a few moments to look and turn the bacon safely. Some people like their bacon crispy and some like it softer. Both are very good in my opinion, but it is only brown sauce that should be put on bacon, not the red stuff. Take the top off your tin of baked beans and place it on the very edge of your fire and stir the beans very carefully every now and then. I've never managed to fry eggs very well. They usually end up scrambled. And what you see happening here is just about the best that I've ever done. If there's nothing cooking in the pan, or you need to do something else around your fire or your food, take the pan off the fire for a few moments. There you have the breakfast building up in the pan marie. Keeping warm, ready for you to eat it later. If your pans do not have a fixed handle, use one of these handles from a Trangia stove, or as a last resort, an oven glove or a towel, but these can take away your dexterity or finger control. Trangia stove handles only cost a few quid from Go Outdoors or a similar shop. Frying the bread last will soak up leftover fat in the pan. Ready to eat. And although you've cooked different foodstuffs at different times in your one frying pan, all of the food has been kept hot because it's been in the pan marie. Before you start to eat, top up that pan marie with water, leave it on the fire whilst you eat, and enjoy the food. And the boiled water can be used for a hot drink, and any left over can be used for washing up. When your fire's finished with, let it die down pour water over the remnants, and when there's no glowing red to be seen, trample the burnt fragment into the ground, wearing your boots, of course, and spreading it a little to help it cool. Kick nearby dirty soil over the ashes to help the fire become less visible.
Okay, so I think we've now got a demonstration of banana boats, I think, Mark, haven't we?
Apologies, I had some technical issues myself then, which was one of the reasons we had a bit of glitchy video then. So apologies everybody for that. Yeah, as usual, technology during live events. Yeah, I'm getting there.
It's fine.
Okay, fingers crossed this one will be a bit better. So let's just get this ready. Come on. Right. Oh, yep, there we go. Right, let's try that again, shall we? Oh, there we go. Right.
I'm going to teach you how to do bananas. Well worth learning. So you're going to need, for this reason, banana, some chocolate buttons. You can use whatever you want. Some tin foil and a knife. Later on, you're going to need a little spoon for eating. Hopefully by now you've got your campfire lit or your oven preheated if you're not using a campfire. So we can start. Take your banana, press a slit along your banana, and then open it up. Then the buttons, pop them in to your banana as many as you want. The more the merrier. I'll show you what it looks like in a minute. Runs in all that chocolate. A few more isn't there? Next thing, all the chocolate. Then banana, tin foil, and that into a parcel, not too tight. You don't want tin foil tucked in the chocolate. All you do, tin foil, banana into the flames. Always remember to be safe. If you don't want to do that yourself, get an adult to do it for you. Make sure you use tongs. You leave that, get somebody to keep an eye on it until you can see your chocolate melting. Once you see that, take it out. Luckily, I have one here, ready to prepare. They're going to be hot, so please be very careful. There we go. There's your chocolate, melted inside your banana. Total utter chocolate banana giviness. Enjoy.
Excellent stuff. I think that video was a little bit better. Okay.
Thank you very much to cub leader from Brookdale. Can't remember Karen's cub name. And finally, we've got cinnamon bread from Springdale Beavers.
Yep. I'm hoping this isn't going to be. I'm hoping we've sorted out our little glitches.
Oh, welcome to Broadstone Virtual Group.
Wow.
One of the
even more technical issues. Oh, let's hope these are just teething troubles.
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they
are too. Right. Okay. So here we go.
Flexible on camp, Mark. We're flexible. Here we are.
So, welcome to Broadstone Virtual Group Camp, one of the cooking sessions, and this is how to cook cinnamon bread on an open fire. And you can use a barbecue with charcoal as well. So I'm one of the Springdale Beaver leaders, and so the ingredients that you need are 200 grams of self-raising flour. We've got 2 teaspoons, so that's the small ones, teaspoons of cinnamon, and 100 milliliters of water, and a good mixing bowl. Some sticks, you need quite long ones, and you can always use a potato peeler, an old one, to give the sticks a bit of a clean. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is start mixing our dough. Don't forget, you could half it if you want to. This makes about 6 to 8 good portions, so halve it if you want a little bit less, and you don't have to add the cinnamon, and you could always make 2 batches, one with cinnamon and one without. Okay, let's get on with it. So we're going to add our 2 teaspoons of cinnamon into the self-raising flour. 1. You can miss the cinnamon out if you really feel like that. Although we call it cinnamon bread, it is just bread, so you can miss it out if you want to. So mix that in nicely, get it nice and even. Smells great already. There we are, pretty much done. Let's make a little well in the middle and then start adding our water a little bit at a time and mixing that in by hand. That's why we had to wash our hands really well. So we'll start adding. Here we go. And we'll mix this in. There we are. A little bit more. Quite a bit. Oops. You'll have to pause it, Millicent. So keep mixing all the flour in. And you want all your flour to disappear and for it to go a nice brown colour. And then we've got a nice ball here that we'll make. And then we'll start kneading that on here. So we floured our board, and the main thing when you're kneading is that you don't want it to be too sticky. If it's sticking to your hands, then you know that you need to add a little bit more flour. The main thing is when you were first mixing it, try not to add the water too quickly. Okay, kneading the dough, and we've got a nice round ball of dough, and you want to take a roughly about a golf ball size of it. There we go. And then we're going to make this into a sausage shape. There we go. Here we are. Want to get that to a nice sausage shape, about 1 centimetre thick. There we are. And then we've got a nice stick. You want a fairly long stick so that we smooth it off with an old peeler as well. And you don't want to wrap this too tight. Just want to have it nice and loosely wrapped around, and then pinch the end off so it stays on there. And then we're going to walk over to our fire and give this a bit of a cooking. I'll tuck my necker in. There we are. And we start rotating it on the fire, cooking it really nice and slowly. And so you don't get bored watching this, I just cooked another one a couple of minutes ago, so we'll do a Blue Peter moment. Hang on. You can see it's now only very slightly soft, and we can rip a bit of that off and see that it's nicely cooked there, which is great. It does taste amazing. Okay, well, I hope you have fun. Make sure you're safe around the fire as well, and enjoy your cinnamon bread.
Excellent stuff.
Hey,
There we go.
There we go. I'm unmuted. A technical issue myself during there called lack of power.
Oh no.
Running to get the power lead. So we've now got an opportunity to go away and do some camp cooking and send us your photos. I think that took a little bit longer than we were expecting, Mark, didn't it? Because it's 6:45 now.
A little bit. It is. It is.
So
what do you want? Should we delay the campfire a little bit, maybe by a quarter of an hour or something?
Yeah, because I think we were expecting to be finished with the first bit by 6:30. So if we delay till 7:15, we've then got you've got time to go away and do some cooking. Remember to stay safe. Okay, stay safe, and if you're cooking outside on a barbecue or a fire, please make sure that you've got adult supervision with you all the time. But indoors is equally fine if that's what's safe for you. Okay, and we'll see you all for campfire about 7:15. Don't forget to send your photos into the WhatsApp chat for us to show, and also to your leaders, because camp cooking will qualify for one of the clauses of your badges. Okay, and we'll see you about 7:15.
Yeah, you'll see an image, everybody, in the moment that says we'll see you at 7 for campfire, but like Jill says, we will delay it by another quarter of an hour. So yeah, there we go.
Okay, we'll see you later.
All right, see you soon, everybody.
See you. Bye.